Have you ever found yourself sharing a little more than you intended? Perhaps a personal detail or a private thought, only to regret it later. It's a common experience, isn't it? We open up to those we trust, our closest friends and family, expecting understanding and support. But sometimes, even with the best intentions on all sides, oversharing can lead to unexpected heartache, misunderstanding, or even leave us feeling vulnerable. It's a painful reality that not every detail, no matter how innocent it seems, is meant for every ear, even those of our loved ones. It's not about being secretive, but about protecting your peace of mind, your well-being, and your independence as you navigate these wonderful later years. Today, we're going to talk about 5 specific things, 5 secrets you might not realize are truly better kept close to your chest, even from your dearest friends and family, to ensure your golden years remain truly golden. And please, stay with me until the very end, because I'll share something crucial that many seniors often overlook, which could truly surprise you and change how you approach these delicate conversations. Let's dive right into the first one, something that touches a very sensitive area for many of us, especially as we age your exact financial details. Now, I'm not talking about broadly saying you're comfortable or you're doing all right, but rather revealing precise figures, your net worth, the exact amount in your savings, the specifics of your investments, or even the exact details of an inheritance you've received or plan to leave. It might feel natural to be open with family, especially adult children, but consider the implications. When precise numbers are known, people's perceptions of you can shift, often subtly, sometimes dramatically. They might develop expectations, or their own financial pressures might lead them to view your resources as a potential solution to their problems. Even if they don't voice it directly, you might suddenly find yourself receiving unsolicited advice on how to manage your money, advice that often benefits the giver more than you. Perhaps a family member suddenly suggests a great investment opportunity they're involved in, or a distant relative you rarely hear from starts making contact more often, hinting at their own struggles. Think about it. Have you ever known someone who, after a significant financial event, suddenly found themselves inundated with requests for loans or felt an unspoken pressure to contribute more to family expenses? It's a sad truth that money, even among loved ones, can complicate relationships. It can attract opportunists, or even well-meaning family can be influenced by others or have their own stresses, leading them to look at your resources with different eyes. The goal here isn't to foster mistrust, but to protect your autonomy and prevent uncomfortable situations. You've worked hard for what you have, and you deserve to control it without external pressure or guilt. So, what's the actionable step here? Be vague but reassuring. When the topic of money comes up, you can simply say, "I'm comfortable," or "I'm managing fine, thank you." If pressed for specifics, gently redirect. You might say, "My financial matters are handled by my advisor, and I've got everything organized." Or, "I prefer to keep those details private, but rest assured, I'm well taken care of." This helps maintain a healthy boundary. If you need to discuss your finances with someone, choose a trusted, professional advisor you've vetted and selected, not just any family member or friend, no matter how well-meaning. This empowers you to manage your resources independently and ensures that your financial well-being remains truly yours. Now, moving from our wallets to our hearts. The next secret is one we often carry, sometimes without even realizing the weight it adds. And that's your deepest fears and anxieties about aging or health. It's natural to have worries as we get older, whether it's about losing our independence, facing a health challenge, or simply the unknown aspects of the future. And sharing these fears with a trusted confidant can be incredibly cathartic and helpful. However, there's a fine line between seeking support and constantly dwelling on and verbalizing every single apprehension. When these deep fears become a regular topic of conversation, especially with friends and family, it can inadvertently make you appear more fragile or incapable than you are. People might start treating you differently, perhaps with excessive pity, which isn't helpful. Or they might become overly protective, inadvertently stifling your independence. Imagine someone whose adult children started preventing them from doing everyday tasks, like driving or going to the grocery store alone, after a minor health scare, simply because they constantly voiced their anxieties about falling or forgetting things, while their children meant well. It stripped away their sense of autonomy. Furthermore, constantly sharing profound anxieties can place a significant emotional burden on your loved ones. While they care deeply, hearing constant worries can lead to their own stress and concern, making them feel helpless or worried for your well-being. It can also, sadly, open you up to manipulative individuals who might help you in exchange for something, preying on your vulnerabilities. The actionable step here isn't to suppress your feelings, but to process them in a constructive way. Acknowledge your fears, yes, but consider discussing them with a professional, like a therapist or a doctor, who can offer objective guidance and coping strategies, rather than an emotional reaction. They can help you develop tools to manage anxiety and focus on solutions. If you do share with friends or family, frame it as seeking support for proactive steps you're taking, not just expressing a litany of worries. For instance, instead of, "I'm terrified of falling," you might say, "I'm focusing on strengthening my balance and taking precautions to stay safe, and I'd love your encouragement." Focus on your aspirations for health and well-being, on the joy you find in each day, rather than letting your deepest fears define your conversations and, ultimately, your perceived strength and capability. This shift in focus protects your emotional space and helps others see your resilience, not just your vulnerability. As we continue to navigate these important boundaries, let's turn our attention to something many of us might instinctively want to share, but perhaps shouldn't: those past mistakes or regrets that still linger. We all have them, don't we? Moments we wish we could change, decisions we regret, words we wish we hadn't said. Sometimes, in moments of reflection or deep conversation, we might feel compelled to unburden ourselves of these memories, especially to those we love and trust. It can feel like a way to connect, to share our deepest selves, or even to seek absolution. However, while sharing can be cathartic in the right context, revealing deeply personal regrets, especially those from long ago, can be difficult for others to fully understand or process objectively. They weren't there. They didn't live your life, and they might not have the capacity to offer the kind of compassionate understanding you need without judgment. In some unfortunate instances, such revelations can even be inadvertently used against you later, perhaps in a heated disagreement, where an old mistake is brought up as evidence of a character flaw or poor judgment. Your past doesn't have to dictate your present or your future, and it certainly shouldn't become ammunition in a conflict. Consider the story of a gentleman who, in a moment of vulnerability, confided in a grandchild about a significant business failure from his youth, explaining how it had haunted him for decades. Years later, during a tense family discussion about a different matter, that very failure was subtly referenced by another family member as a reason to question his current decision-making abilities. It was a painful reminder that even well-intentioned sharing can have unintended consequences. The actionable step here is to practice self-compassion and forgiveness. You've learned from those experiences. You've grown. And you've become the wise individual you are today because of them, not despite them. If a past regret is truly burdening you, consider seeking counsel from a spiritual advisor or a therapist. These professionals are trained to help you process such emotions without judgment and to equip you with tools for healing and moving forward. They provide a confidential space where you can genuinely unburden yourself without the risk of future repercussions within your personal relationships. Focus on the wisdom gained from your life experiences the resilience you've built, and the person you are now, rather than allowing the pain of an old error to define you or become a point of contention among your loved ones. Your journey, including its challenges, is a part of your unique story. But not every chapter needs to be read aloud to everyone. Speaking of relationships, our next secret directly relates to how we manage connections with those closest to us. The specific details of disputes you might have with other family members. It's natural to seek comfort and understanding when you're going through a disagreement with a spouse, a sibling, or an adult child. Your immediate instinct might be to vent to a trusted friend or another family member, to get their perspective, or simply to feel heard. However, involving third parties, even those with the best intentions, in your private family disputes can be a truly perilous path. What often happens is that these well-meaning listeners can unwittingly escalate the conflict. They might feel compelled to take sides, or they might offer advice that, while well-intentioned, is based on incomplete information and further inflames the situation. Your private matter can quickly become public gossip within the family or friendship circle, creating a web of resentment and misunderstanding that's incredibly difficult to untangle. Imagine confiding in one child about a disagreement you had with another, detailing every perceived slight and frustration. While you might just be looking for empathy, that child might then harbor resentment towards their sibling, leading to a fractured relationship between them. The original issue might have been resolved between you and the other child, but the damage to the sibling relationship could be lasting. Family dynamics are incredibly complex, and when you draw others into your specific disputes, you're essentially inviting them into a private arena where allegiances are tested and old wounds can easily be reopened. It rarely solves the original issue, and more often than not complicates it, turning a private disagreement into a messy, public ordeal. The actionable step here is to handle disputes directly with the person involved. If a direct conversation isn't possible or proves ineffective, consider professional family mediation. A neutral third party, like a mediator, is trained to facilitate communication and help find common ground. Without bias or judgment, they help you address the issue head-on, in a constructive way, rather than allowing it to fester or involve others unnecessarily. Keep your family politics private. Friends are for support and companionship, for sharing joys and sorrows, but not for enlisting in family feuds. By keeping these specific disputes contained, you protect your other relationships and ensure that your family environment, even with its natural ups and downs, remains a place of respect and eventual reconciliation, rather than constant tension and whispered alliances. Finally, let's talk about something incredibly important for your peace of mind and independence in the future. A topic that's often discussed casually, but needs a more serious, private approach: your precise future care preferences or end-of-life wishes before they are legally documented and communicated to your designated representatives. It's common for families to have informal conversations about these sensitive subjects. You might say, "Oh, when the time comes, I'd really prefer to stay in my own home," or "I never want to be put on machines." While these expressions come from a place of genuine concern for your future, casually sharing these thoughts without formally documenting them can lead to significant misinterpretations and immense stress for your loved ones down the line. If these wishes aren't legally binding and clearly communicated to the specific individuals you've appointed to make decisions on your behalf, your family could be left guessing your intentions during a critical time. This ambiguity often leads to family arguments, fueled by stress, grief, and differing opinions on what mom or dad really wanted. Each family member might have their own interpretation of your casual remarks, or they might project their own desires onto your wishes, creating a contentious environment when unity is needed most. Consider the heartbreaking real-life scenario of a parent who, over several years, made various casual comments to different children about their end-of-life preferences. One child remembered a comment about wanting aggressive treatment, another recalled a preference for comfort care, and a third swore the parent wanted to die at home, no matter what. when a medical crisis occurred. These conflicting recollections led to a bitter legal battle and lasting family resentment. All because the parents' true, consistent wishes weren't formally documented and entrusted to one or two specific, appointed decision-makers. It leaves too much open to interpretation and emotional decision-making when logic and clarity are paramount. The actionable step here is paramount. Discuss these intensely personal and important decisions with a legal professional, such as an estate planning lawyer, and with your chosen power of attorney for healthcare or financial matters. Get it in writing. Create an advance directive, a living will, and designate your healthcare proxy or power of attorney. Once these documents are legally formalized and you've thoroughly discussed them with your chosen representatives, then, and only then, should you share the existence of these plans and who your appointed decision-makers are with other family members. You don't need to share every single detail of the document, but rather inform them that your wishes are clear, legally binding, and entrusted to specific individuals. This empowers your chosen advocates to carry out your wishes without doubt or dispute, and it protects your dignity and autonomy. More importantly, it spares your loved ones the agony of making difficult decisions under pressure, knowing they are simply honoring your carefully considered plans. It's an act of love and foresight, ensuring your voice is heard, clearly and unequivocally, when it matters most. So, as we've explored today, the path to a truly peaceful and independent senior life often involves understanding what to keep private. It's not about mistrust. It's about protecting your boundaries, your peace of mind, and your ability to live life on your own terms. We've talked about keeping your exact financial details close to prevent undue pressure, understanding when and how to share your deepest fears without becoming vulnerable, learning to let go of past regrets without burdening others with unnecessary judgment, navigating family disputes directly and privately to preserve harmony, and crucially, formalizing your future care wishes with legal documents before broad discussion to ensure your voice is heard clearly. Remember, setting these boundaries isn't about isolating yourself. It's about empowering yourself. It's about ensuring that your relationships are built on genuine love and respect, not on obligation, financial expectation, or potential misunderstanding. Small shifts in how we share can make a profound difference in the quality of our lives and the strength of our connections. It allows you to maintain your dignity and independence, ensuring that your later years are filled with the peace and joy you've earned. By wisely managing what you share, you're not just protecting yourself, you're creating a stronger, healthier foundation for all your relationships, built on clarity and mutual respect. I'd truly love to hear your thoughts on this. Have you ever experienced a situation where oversharing, even with those you love, led to an unexpected challenge or regret? Or perhaps you've learned the power and peace that comes from keeping certain things private. Safeguarding your personal space and emotional well-being. Share your experiences and insights in the comments below. Your stories could genuinely help someone else who's navigating similar waters and looking for guidance. Your wisdom is invaluable to this community. If this conversation resonated with you, if it gave you something to think about, and perhaps a new perspective on these important boundaries, please give this video a like. It really helps our channel reach more people who could benefit from these discussions and empowers us to continue creating content that supports you. And if you haven't already, consider subscribing. We're building a wonderful, supportive community here, focused on living our best lives at every age, sharing practical wisdom and encouragement that truly makes a difference. You deserve to live your golden years with dignity, with peace, and with immense joy. By wisely managing what you choose to share, you're building a stronger foundation for yourself, safeguarding your independence, and truly living your best life every single day. Take care, and I look forward to our next conversation.